nominee.
Seated or standing? So, I, Nathaniel Nganga Reuben, solemnly swear that the information I am going to give before this committee is the truth, nothing but the truth, nothing but the whole truth, so help me God. Thank you.
Thank you, Waziri. Members, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce myself and the honorable members, after which I would request the clerk to introduce the secretariat. My name is Ann Kiusia. I'm the Speaker of the County Assembly of Machakos, as well as the chairperson of the Committee on Appointments.
Thank you. I am Honorable Stephen Mwanthi, representing a Kalakale Katini Ward and the Deputy Speaker, Machakos County Assembly.
Through the chair, I'm Peter Kilonzo, representing Great People Mbione.
Jackson Daka, representing Tala Ward, Deputy Majority Leader.
Through the chair, Karibu, Nicholas Nzioka, representing Machakos Central Ward and also leader of the Majority Party. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I am Francis Kitaka, representing Dalane Ward.
My name is Winfred Mutua, representing the Special Elect.
Good afternoon. Francis Wambua Kavyu, Kinani Ward, Deputy Minority Leader.
Brian Kisila, Mwala Makutano.
Yes, good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon.
Yes, welcome. I'm Judas Mbili Dawa.
Thank you.
Representing the great people Matu and the leader of Minority Side. Thank you.
Proceed, clerk.
Okay, welcome, Mheshimiwa Nathaniel. My name is Joseph Motisia, the clerk of the Assembly. And with me, I have the Deputy Clerk Legislative, Mr. Dennis. I have Mr. Modhi, the legal in charge. Mr. Musioka, in charge of procedure. Mr. Dalmas, research officer, senior. Then I have the clerk assistant, Susan Keluba. I have Alison, clerk assistant. I have Lewis Modoka, clerk assistant. Then I have the sergeant at arms. Thank you.
Thank you, members. Waziri Nganga.
Yes.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Feel very much welcome.
Asante.
Relax. Sip some water from there. We have provided some for you.
Yes.
And it's not that bad. It is it's a vetting. It's not an interview.
Asante.
Be brief to the questions, and we'll be good to go. I'll start by asking you to tell us about yourself, and then give us your educational background, experience, and of course, how relevant it is to the department you have been nominated for.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and honorable members. As I had earlier outlined, my name's Honorable Nathaniel Nganga. Nganga is a son of parents from a local village in Yatta sub-county who are formerly teachers who emigrated from, my father came from Mwala Ward in Makutano, Mwala, and my dad, my mom, happened to come from Kangundo Central Ward, for that matter. I happened to have been born in this town, in one of the famous hospitals in those years, the Machakos nursing home. But of course, I was brought up in my local village in Katutoni area of Ikombe ward, where I enrolled in primary school. In my early years, I went all the way to class 8. I did my KCPE back in the days, where I performed well, as evidenced in the documents before you. And then I proceeded for my secondary education in Kadhiani Boys High School, where I was able to garner a slot to join the university, the days when we were admitted by the Joint Admissions Board. And I, before proceeding to university, I was able to teach in one of our primary schools back at home for about 2 years. That is Kekesa Primary. And later on, I joined university, Egerton University, Joro campus, where I started Bachelor of Science, Mathematics, with bias on statistics. I graduated in the year 2011, from where I proceeded to seek employment. I was able to work for quite a number of firms. The first to employ me was I was employed as a teacher in Tala, in a school called Tala Academy, where I was teaching mathematics, chemistry, and physics. I later on got a slot to proceed and work with the Cooperative Bank of Kenya. While I was working with them before that stint, I also got an opportunity to work as a research assistant with the Synovate group, because my background was on statistics. Then later on, I got an opportunity to work with the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics as a research assistant. From where I ventured into politics. I left employment and ran for office back in the year 2013, and I ended up getting elected at the MCA to represent the great people of Ikombe ward, who I always thank very much for giving me a chance to serve them at a very early and young age. From there, I was able to be elected by my colleague members to serve as the first deputy speaker of this institution, where I believe the records speak for themselves. I was able to serve with diligence, and we did good job for the people of the county of Machakos for the 4 years we were able to serve. After that, I ran for office again in 2017 as a member of parliament in Yatta constituency, but I was unsuccessful, from which I left my campaign after the nominations and ran for and joined Wavinya Denti campaign secretariat as the lead campaigner for that time, and we were unsuccessful in our endeavor. So after the elections, we spent some years in the cold until we had the unfortunate passing of our good friend, the late Senator of Machakos, Honorable Kabaka, where I also actively participated in coordinating the elections of our party, coordinating in our sub-county in Yatta. And when our party managed to secure the seat, I was appointed by the then Senator Honorable Agnes Kavindu to serve as our manager, which I served for a year, after which I resigned again to join active politics early in this year in the month of February. And I joined Wavinya Deti Secretariat again, where I led the campaigns across Machakos County and also for the Wiper Party. We were able to win quite a range of slots, some of which the beneficiaries are with me in this chamber, and from which now I ended up getting to be nominated for the seat. I have had quite a huge political experience in the various stints that I have had. I have had the opportunity to serve as a manager, working in close collaboration with the Parliamentary Service Commission. And I gained quite a lot of experience. The relevance of my experience over the years to the assignment that is before me is that my leadership skills have been well refined, and I have gained good experience of social interaction, ability to evaluate the needs and intents of persons, and to make the right decisions as the time progresses. I would say I have a good understanding. There is no ward in Machakos County that I have not stepped foot. So I understand the challenge of the roads that we have in our places and what needs to be done to them. And I have the zeal, I have the energy, I have the capacity, I have the understanding of what needs to be done. I had the opportunity to interact with the officers in the department when I was a member of parliament, a member of county assembly. I know their challenges, and I know how to solve them. I already have a good plan of getting them up to speed, restructuring how they've been operating, in putting in a new breath, a new spirit on how they are supposed to work so that they deliver to the people of Machakos. Madam Speaker, I beg to stop at that.
Thank you very much. I would like to call upon the next member to put across their questions.
Thank you. And if I may ask you, how did you find yourself there? Did you undergo an interview, or how did you find yourself there today?
How I ended up here. As I have outlined, I have been involved actively on seeking the right leadership for this county. For the last 10 years and counting, I have participated in civic activities. You know, when we were studying civic education in primary school, we were taught some of the characteristics of good citizens. It's making sure that you are actively engaged in matters of the state. As a person, I took early interest in being concerned with the welfare of our communities. And I would say, yes, I was interviewed, and no. Yes, in the sense that for the period that I have got involved with the nominating authority, I get to know my governor back more than 10 years ago when I was the chairman of the National Youth Council, right after I had joined active politics. And that time she was assistant minister in the Kibaki government. During those years, we were able to interact and engage with her, and it is through those introductions that we got an opportunity to negotiate with her to get some members of our council nominated to this house. The first beneficiary of that nomination was our brother, the late Honorable Kimanzi from Mudesia, whose slot after we lost him was replaced by Honorable Raphael Mutuku from Lower Kaiwa. And I want to believe over the years we have engaged actively in politics with the nominating authority. As I've said, I was a lead campaigner for her in 2017 and even in 2022. And I want to believe as those engagements went on, they were part of passive and constructive interview. And while I was also working for the party, I am a staunch member of Wiper Party, and I have had active engagements with our party leader and the party ranks. And I want to believe part of the interactions formed the opinions of recommending me to be able to serve in this opportunity. So I would say that, yes, I went through interview, but the interviews in the manner that they were not construed, because of course the law does not demand that we have a public interview to be nominated as a member of a county executive committee. So I think I adequately respond to your question, Mheshimiwa.
Thank you very much. I call upon the next member to put
Thank you
across.
very much,
Yes.
Madam Chair. You've been nominated to a very critical department. Could you paint me a picture of the portfolios that are in that department?
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. The Department of Roads and Transport and Public Works is a very critical department in the county government of Machakos. We have 3 directorates. Although one of them is not yet completely established, we have the Directorate of Roads, we have the one for Public Works, and there is an intention to establish the Directorate of Transport. The Directorate of Roads is involved in construction of tarmac and maram roads and waterways in our places, and the department and also is also involved in establishment of bridges in our various places. It's also responsible for maintaining roads across the entire county of Machakos. I also understand that it is also responsible in recommending and having negotiations with the national government on matters to do roads within our county. We have the duty to propose and engage with the national government to get and other development agencies to ensure that we improve our road network across the county. The matter for transport is about promoting good good transport environment across Machakos, and also ensuring that we implement the national government legislations, policies, and regulations that regards matters transport. We are also responsible for management and establishment of our bus parks. We realize that we have quite a number of bus parks across Machakos County, others that are not yet established, others that were established many years ago and need to be reviewed, and new ones that we need to make space for. We are responsible for public transport, ensuring that the travelers across our county and within enjoy traveling within our roads and in our bus parks. We also are responsible for promoting road safety across Machakos County and engaging with the national government and the NTSA and the other relevant agencies to ensure that road safety is promoted. We license, we also give, we're responsible for giving slots within our bus parks and ensuring that there is amicable relationship between the transporters in our bus parks. We are also responsible for ensuring that our circles are well organized and the various routes that they are also allowed to transport through. On the docket of public works, we are responsible for coming up with the BQs of government, Machakos County government buildings, and also looking into the design of the buildings, advising on maintenance, advising on repairs, and also supervising construction of all government buildings within Machakos County government, and also other private and national government agencies that will engage us for that matter. We are responsible also for authenticating approvals of buildings because we have the engineers and the architect who are supposed, and the electrical engineers who are supposed to check while we are giving approvals for the various constructions that are happening within our county, so that tomorrow when a building collapses in Machakos County, the responsibility will be fall on my officers to ensure that that doesn't happen by making sure standards are met when buildings are coming up within Machakos County.
There are many challenges in that department, but I want just to pick one, and I would want you to tell us how you are going to tackle it. That is the issues of circles in the various bus stop, because it's either we are overcrowded, our facilities are small, or we have far too many circles within the county. How are you going to tackle that?
Thank you, Mheshimiwa, through the chair. My intention is that if you look at, for instance, the bus park within Machakos town, this bus park was developed many, many years ago. And I would want to invite this house to start thinking outside or even without the box. Because as you understand, population growth in this country has been increasing on a very rapid rate. And you expect that people are also competing for opportunities to do business. So it is not wrong to have many vehicles within our bus park. What we need to do is that is a sign of government, slow response by government on public demand for facilities. I would say our bus park is congested, and most of our bus parks across Machakos County, especially the one in Machakos and the other one in Kangundo. And we want to find a lasting solution to some of these challenges. We have had, of course, a lot of chaos within our bus park because of the duplicity of responsibilities and conflict of responsibilities between the Department of Roads and Transport and the Department of Decentralized Units. You understand that we don't have enforcement officers as a department, but the responsibility of maintenance and management lies squarely in our docket. My intention, once I am successfully in office, is that we shall sit with the operators of the public transport within the bus park and come up with an amicable solution to the challenge that has been bedeviling them. I am very awake to the challenge. I am aware that in the previous regime, the allocation of slots was done with a lot of impunity. And that is a matter I am very committed to go forward and resolve. I also am aware that the previous regime had come up with an idea of doing the county headquarters around the new city. And the intention was that they wanted to move the county headquarters from the current location to the new city. I have paid a visit to the site, and I have seen that it will not take us so long to have the new building completed. I have had an inquiry with a range of leaders on possible solution, because we have to get a new bus park for Machakos town. The one that we have is not enough. It's not satisfactory to serve our officers. And if you look at where we will get space around the town, there are very limited public spaces that can be converted into a new bus park. So progressively, together as leaders, we need to think on the solution of the bus park within Machakos town. And one of my friends shared with me an idea that if we are able to complete the new county headquarters and we move the current one, then possibly we can now convert the space where we have the current county headquarters into a new bus park for our people, and also establish business slots for our people and create opportunities for business. And this will be a legacy project that you, the people of Machakos, this house will have handed to the people of Machakos. Of course, we don't have a budget in that line. That needs to be a priority project that needs to be discussed and negotiated. And with that, we shall have solved the parking problem that we have had with our borders, that we have had with our tuk-tuks, that we have had with the Maruti, and that we have had with our transport circles, such that everybody will have space to operate from, and we shall have a lasting solution to that unending problem. I thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much. Could we have the next member, please?
Yes, thank you. Madam Chair, I just want to ask the nominee another question. We have reports that there is an arrangement to have an agreement with the county government and the National Youth Service to come together to undertake some road works within the county. What is your opinion about that? And again, does the county have a legal framework to guide the collaboration between the county and the National Youth Service?
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Through the chair, the Intergovernmental Relations Act provides that the national and county government are supposed to work with interdependence. There are already established laws that are supposed to guide the relationship. However, this is like a son and a child relationship, a son and a father, or a mother, or a parent and a child relationship, whereby, in as much as the Constitution has given the county governments semi-autonomy, there is a lot of reliance on the national government. Usually, when you study establishment of devolved governments across the world, there are scales through which and levels of decentralization. And the one in Kenya, the matter for fiscal decentralization has been a key issue that was not, in my opinion, very adequately handled. Because we devolved a lot of functions, but we did not devolve quite a huge amount of financing to them. You have the functions, but you have a serious limitation on the financing of the functions. I would say, as the governor has clearly outlined, that she is committed to engage with the national government so that she can be able also to get part of the pie. Remember, 47 counties in Kenya share among themselves 15% of the national government cake. That is to mean that the money that we get is meager. Looking at the budgets for each department, you will realize anybody relying on the budgetary allocation from our own source revenue and the money from national government, they will not be able to do enough development as expected by the citizens or residents of Machakos. So therefore, I am very much in agreement with that endeavor. I am very much in support of that arrangement. And my intention is that once I get into office, we will actively engage with the Kenya National Highways Authority. We will engage with the Kenya Urban Rural Authority and the Kenya Rural Roads Authority, and also the Kenya Roads Board, so that they prioritize Machakos as a key county in this country, because we are part of the 4 counties within the metropolis. And if you look back at the money that Machakos has been getting compared to our neighbors in the metropolis, we have been getting a raw deal. So we would want to renegotiate with the national government so that part of the challenges facing Nairobi can only be solved by having a good road network in Machakos. We have a lot of road network that is supposed to be done by Kura within Syokimau, within Utawala, that is in Machakos, within our areas of Joska, our areas of Malaa, our areas of Tala, Machakos town, at the river. Our urban areas require a lot of support from our national government agencies. You look at our national highways, Kenya is responsible for those, and we have quite a number that have not been handled. If you look at the road that is connecting from Kantafu all the way to Donyo-Sabuk, if you look at the road that is connecting from Kangundo all the way to Mwala, those are roads that should have been done many years ago, because they are linkage roads. And there are quite a number of others that I may not have adequate time to mention. We are going to engage actively with them, and we are going to lobby for resources. The president has been very clear that he is open and willing to engage with the elected leaders. That is the spirit that I think will help this country. We engage as governments so that we get financing because the department, if you look at the budget allocation, does not have enough budget to do any road. We are going to do just a few roads, and if that budget is not enhanced by support from national government, then we will not be able to meet the expectations of our people. So I'm ready to engage the agencies. We are ready to support the governor with the right and relevant information so that she can also engage at our front, and we can be able to support these agencies to do more roads in our place. I have had a look at the number of kilometers that these agencies can do for us. I look at Kera, they can do for us we have about roads worth about 400 kilometers across Machakos County that they can be able, and they should be able to do for us. We have about 147 kilometers that I think Kenya is responsible and should be able to do it. But the challenge for them has been lobbying of finances to come to our region. And we will lead that front so that we can be able to help our people. I thank you, Honorable Chair.
Well answered, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
could we have the next
yes,
member, please?
Yes. Bwana Nganga, karibu sana. 2018-2022 CIDP. We did a CIDP which had a lot of projects, road projects for all the 40 wards. Unfortunately, most of them were not done. What is your plan on the stalled projects which never took off? And how will you work together with Waheshimiwas to ensure that the CIDP we are going to do now, CIDP, will be executed to the latter?
Thank you. One of the principles, and also it is mirrored in the objectives of a devolved government, is inclusion and involvement. The essence why we have devolved governments or county governments was to ensure that local communities are able to manage their own affairs. And the duty we are going to be given is to make sure citizen involvement in decisions about development of their county or their places is done without undue delay. I want to commit that there will be involvement in all decisions regarding the CIDP. The governor has given a clear direction in your meeting, in your sittings with her, that she wants you to participate and lead the front in deciding together with the wananchi. If the citizens would want, let's say in a certain ward, they want about 5 or 10 roads, she will have a sitting, this CIDP, I believe it will be different, unlike it has been before, where the governor will have to sit with the people and commit with them how many road projects we are going to do in that ward. We give people realistic hope without giving them a hope that is not achievable. We will tell the people what is going to be done, what the budget allocation that we have, and what we can be able to do in 1 year. And we will only promise that which we are able to deliver. There's no essence of lying to our own brothers and sisters merely because today or the other day we are in government. There will be a day we will want officers also to respond to us on issues of our interest. And if we set a bad culture, that culture will come to eat us back. So my intention is that the MCS and together with the wananchi, we will have public participation programs where these roads will be identified, decisions will be made on which roads will be done, and once they are decided, then we will go and do BQs for them. And those that we can do in-house with our own equipments, we run and handle them. Those that will require contractors to come and do, we will of course go through the procurement process and have contractors do them for us. I will also say that for those that were initiated, we will relook at them, and of course, because public money has been invested in them, we cannot allow it to go to waste. We will take them up and finish them up. The others that were not taken up, then we will have to reprioritize them in the CIDP so that they can be implemented. I thank you.
Well answered. Thank you.
Thank you. Next member, please.
My question is, how would you use public and private partnership to achieve sustainable development plan in your docket?
I want to thank you, Mheshimiwa, for the question. As has been outlined in the law, public-private partnership is a very successful way of doing projects and development projects, for that matter, in our country. That has been evidenced by the new project that is serving us in our part of Mololongo in Machakos sub-county, where the national government was able to do the expressway for us. And that is a project that shows the ease of delivery of projects when we engage private partners, when government money becomes not adequate. As you have seen, we have had a change of regime. The new president is talking about austerity measures. As a county government, we rely heavily on the finances that come as a release from the exchequer, the equitable share from national government, and of course we have little that we collect as our own source revenue. You realize this is a very reliable approach of doing programs, but then the law demands that we get a government guarantee from national government. So unless we get a guarantee from national government, it will be a challenge for us to engage in such an activity. Now that the president was able to get his cabinet yesterday, we believe that there will be engagement going forward with the Cabinet Secretary for Roads and Transport to know the decisions that they are going to take with regards to doing roads, whether it will require for these programs to be put in place. And if we are able to get that support, I want to commit to this house that we shall be able also to come up with programs. I have, in my brief, been able to understand that we have big use in much of the roads networks that we would want done in our county. And all that we have lacked for all this long is adequate financing. So we will also pursue this as one of the ways of getting funded to ensure that we are able to do more roads for the people of Machakos. So it is an approach that we are open to following. I thank you.
Sufficient answered.
Thank you. Next member.
Honorable Nganga, we've had contractors who have been engaged by the previous county government to do roads and public works in our county. And they have had so much pending bills. Hence the jobs and the duties they were tasked to do were accomplished. When you are appointed in this office, what are the measures or what will you do about the unpaid bills for the contractors?
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Through the chair, I have been able to interact with the documents relating to Machakos County and understand that the Department of Roads is owed about 396 million of the already officiated bills that have been verified by the outgoing regime, the regime that was there before. Of course, the governor has put up a committee, a task force for that matter, to verify on the pending bills. Part of them, I believe, is these bills and others that people claim that they were not paid. I would want to say my plan is that, first of all, we will wait for the verdict of the committee that has been set out by Her Excellency to make its recommendations that I believe will end up in this house for your approval and recommendation. Then from there also, internally as a department, we will also look at the pending bills, analyze them in terms of when they were incurred, the size of the bills. Some of them are at the tune of 1 million, others, let's say, under 5 million, others are under 10 million, others are over 10 million, others are over 20 million. I've been able to look at them, and we will look at them with a view of segmenting them in a manner of coming up with a payment plan. Because, of course, the moment we are able to pay some of these contractors, we will jumpstart the growth of our economic activities in our areas. You realize some of these contractors form the SMEs in our regions. And when they are not paid, some of the people that they have employed are our sons and daughters, and it is them that hurt when we don't pay these companies. My plan is that we first of all come up with a payment plan for the 5 years. If the pending bill is about 396 million, I have looked at the budget of the department and there is no allocation for paying or pending bills. So I would appeal to this House when we will be requesting for reallocation, that this is a matter that I will request for reconsideration. And if you look at, this is about 400 million, and if you subdivide it with 5 years, we will only be requiring 80 million per year. So say approximately 100 million per year to be able to clear with those bills in 5 years. So the owners will be on this House to finance my department with these funds, and I will do the needful to making sure that our contractors are paid. We will stagger them in a manner that we don't lump the money in the big contractors and leave out the small contractors. We will ensure that actually we clear off with the many small contractors and also progressively move towards clearing the big contractors. When you look at it also, you realize half of this money was incurred in the first term of the first governor, and the rest was incurred in the second term. So we can have a negotiation on how, depending on how early the bill was incurred, there are quite a number of approaches that we can use to sort these pending bills. I have an intention, I have the will, but you understand, members, Machakos County is the leading county with the biggest pending bill in Kenya of 2.8 billion. You have to think together with us as a government to find a solution to this issue. Because if we pay 2.8 billion in 1 year, or even in 2 years, or even in 3 years, and understanding very well our development budget is around 3 billion or 3 point something billion, we shall have nothing to do for our people, yet they expect us to do a lot of development. We need to put our heads together and get solutions for the people of Machakos. I thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Next member, please.
Thank you. Issue of access roads along Mombasa Road has been a major cause of road accidents. If once approved to serve as the CEC for the Transport and Roads Department, what's your plan to ensure that our people are safe and we do not lose more lives because of that issue where roads are done, but the locals who are supposed to use them to access to their homes were not factored in the initial plan?
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. My intention is that where we have a public issue of public concern, as the Constitution has outlined, is that development must respond to people's needs. And as you are clearly putting it out, this is a need for the people that reside along Mombasa Road in the areas that it traverses through Machakos. And my recommendation will be right immediately after I am in office, I'll be open and ready and willing to engage with the affected communities and sit with them, hear out their concerns. And of course, if that is a matter to be addressed by my department, I will swing into action. If it is a matter that will have to be handled by Kenha or Kura, I will immediately engage them and get a resolution for this matter. There's no reason why our people should suffer while we are in office. I am ready to tackle that matter head on without any due delay.
The other issue, Machakos serves as an ideal settlement area for people who are looking for life outside Nairobi. What is your plan? Is a railway line or a commuter service for Machakos County visible?
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. For now, personally, I don't consider the doing of a railway to Machakos town an immediate need, because we have serious basic needs that we have not handled for our people. What I think is important is to ensure the already available rail transport opportunities, that is within the town of Atriva and the town of Mulolongo, is made to be responsive to our people's needs. And personally, I'm open and available to engage with the communities there on the issues that they consider that they would want reviewed or revisited, so that we can engage with the national government in that front. Because of course, in Machakos County, we are a stakeholder on the various stops where we have the railway and line serving within our county. And I believe it is always good to encourage the national government to also invest in the railway facilities within Machakos County. So that is also a direction that we will also pursue, but majorly to ensure there is improved service delivery in terms of the frequency of the wagons that come maybe to our towns, the reliability of their service and such like arrangements.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. All the best.
Asante.
Thank you. Mheshimiwa, proceed.
Mheshimiwa Nganga.
Yes.
I think you are aware of the county emergency fund.
Yes.
At what point is your department can benefit from that fund?
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. As the law has been, the Public Finance Management Act has been set out, the County Emergency Fund is a fund that is domiciled within the Ministry of Finance. And as I understand currently, it only has a 5 million allocated to it. My department does a project of 5 million is just a simple, a vended drift. So it will not even help one member's ward, my brother. So you need first of all to enhance the kit. And of course, this is a kit that I would be able to very much utilize. Realize that we are heading to the raining season when bridges are swept and drifts and even roads are washed away. And this is when we need to plug into that fund so that we can be able to utilize it. But before we get there, I would want to urge the House to reconsider improving the amount of funds allocated to that kitty, so that when you come to me in need of rescue, I would be well empowered to rescue in that line. I thank you, Mheshimiwa.
Thank you very much. We could have the next member, please.
Yes, thank you so much, Chair. I have a question to our nominee. We have interacted for quite some time, and you have been acting and doing well. Now, my question is, because we have seen that we have a challenge of the grading machines, what is your plan? Number two, you know, there's this, the deputy president, he was nicknamed Rigiji. Now, I've just gone to WhatsApp status of CEC nominee, and it reads, Nganga tingo. Neno nyidesi ya mambinge mono. Nedi oloka ekasemba, nekatembea kulinga na mawendi mabindi. Neno nyimbai. So anyway, I thought you forgot to tell us when you are telling us more about yourself, about this Nganga tingo. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. I will begin with the matter for the grading equipment. You realize quite that we have utilized this equipment for some time. I was part of the first regime when this equipment were bought. Some of the equipment that were bought were not of the right quality, and it has become a real challenge repairing them. What I have, the intention I have is that we are going to repair those that are repairable with minor repair costs. There are some that are completely grounded, but they would want like 2 million or 3 million. We can repair an equipment that is worth 20 million at a small cost of about 2 million so that it can serve us for, say, a few years. But we would want to dispose of those that are completely broken down and unserviceable. I will propose that we initiate a rapid disposal program. We dispose of equipment that are not viable and that are not serving us. The others that have issues, I have a plan of, first of all, I would want immediately that I am in office, I organize a training for my operators and the drivers of our equipment, because I understand when they were recruited in the first term, people were going and picking their brothers, their cousins, their relatives without the requisite experience and training. You'll be surprised. You find a guy grading a road in the rural villages, and as they do it, they see women approaching, and without giving wave to them, they would want to spin and show how serious they are and capable of doing these roads. There are quite some erratic elements within the department that I am very determined to deal with. I will first of all do a training with accredited firm for every one of them, so that they will not say they were never retrained. They want to be I want them to unlearn the bad behaviors that they've had before and get into a new culture and a new way of doing things. And then after the training, in fact, it will be a training where they will be certified. They will be issued with the recognizable certificates. And the governor will be able to officiate such an arrangement as a pilot of the plan that we intend even to do for the wider public, our riders of the motorbikes and such. So it is one of the things I want to do, so that we change the culture of our operators and the people handling our equipment, so that we also don't have a rampant repair and breakdown of our equipment. And those that are costing us so much to maintain, I will propose to this House and to the government that we dispose them off, and we acquire new long-lasting equipment that can serve us without much of the problem, because that is the only viable solution. There is no need of buying an equipment that is worth 10 million, but in 2 years it will break down and you start repairing it with $1 million every 2 or 3 months. You better sell it off and buy an equipment which is worth 25 million, and it serves you for many years without you having to repair. We want just to apply common sense to some of the decisions that are going to be made. My intention is to lead this department into the direction of light. Through the chair, the member has asked about the definition. That's a personal philosophy. It's a deep personal statement about my personal ideals. But then I would say it emanated between a discussion that was happening between one of my grandfathers and his neighbor around Kaliambeo area in Kionyweni within Mudeden ward, and they were discussing about some members of our family. You realize that we have the first governor was my cousin, and we have quite a number of people from my family who have been able to venture and succeed in this country. And it is a statement that when you meet any from our family, realize that you are dealing with somebody who has capacity, who has competence, who has skill, and hiyo maneno ingine inafuata namna hiyo. So I think for deeper explanation in a language that we will not miss the syntaxes, you can see me
behind the tent
privately. I thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa Waziri. I have one question.
Madam Chair, kindly allow me.
Yes.
I have one question for the nominee.
Yes.
That If you succeed,
Yes.
if you succeed, what are you planning to do with the issue of these operators' interests? For them, when they are working in our wards and in various areas, that they can be sustained. Because I know, there is that culture of the plant operators calling and trying to get some support from the honorable members. How are you planning to sort that issue?
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. I know that is a thorn on all members of the County Assembly, especially when we are doing the in-house programs. Part of the challenge is because when we engage in an activity that we would want to take 2 days, it ends up taking us 4 days or 5. And it ends up burdening the member of County Assembly, burdening the officer, and even burdening the government. Challenge has been brought by the nature of our equipment. Most of them, we go to site and we have breakdowns, we have worn out tires, we have a challenge of repairing tires, puncture every now and then. One of the ways I'm planning to deal with this is that I want to make sure that the matter of puncture is a matter that will stop. It is always embarrassing when you see photos of our graders, our equipment being repaired, puncture being repaired in our local markets out there. I think as a government, we must make a decision to make sure that our equipment are well serviced before they go to perform any duty. The other bit is that, of course, the other challenge is a cash flow problem. Personally, I don't have a reason why I would want an operator to go working out there in the field without the, what we call the subsistence allowance. Because of course, where do you expect him to sleep? What do you expect him to eat? And he's already moved from his house. The law has provided that anybody who is going to work outside his workstation is eligible to subsistence allowance. When I also looked at our budget, I realized that this house does not allocate us enough money for that work. In fact, I would want to seek for a review of the budget. This department needs to be well enabled to be able to meet its needs. Because when I don't have money to pay my operators, then it becomes a problem. There is no allocation. In fact, the only allocation that was there for this activity, I believe has already been exhausted. In the few days we have been doing the road machine, Barabara Machinani program. I want to request this house to reconsider and enhance that facility. I have no reason why anybody in my department would take up a subsistence allowance that is due for another person. I have gone through the same myself when I was serving this house. It is not my will that members go through the same. I want to bring a solution to that matter. The other bit is, of course, we have cash flow problems. This is a national issue. Sometimes you realize you process money for payment, and it takes you about a month or two to be able to utilize funds. But I want to say, once I get into office, this is a matter that I will streamline, such that by the time we send an officer to field, the money is already available with the department, so that they don't become a burden for you while they are working for you at your various wards. I thank you. Mheshimiwa, through the chair.
Thank you. I said I would want to put across a question on Chapter 6. Are you conversant with Chapter 6?
Yes, I am, Madam.
And if you are, then are you compliant?
Yes, I am compliant. I have no Chapter 6 issues. I have been working for government for more than 10 years, and I have not had any issue with Chapter 6. The Anti-Corruption Commission cleared me for this assignment, and I have never been sought to respond to any corruption issues. It's about leadership and integrity, and I think I am as white as snow, like Raila would say. mweupe kama pamba.
Okay, thank you, Waziri. That was really very elaborate and engagement with us.
Thank you.
And your answers were quite comprehensive. We thank you. Now, I would like to perhaps ask you to comment or say something to us, as well as introduce your guest. I forgot to mention that before. I can see you have a guest. Tell us who this person is. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to appreciate members for their very objective questions, and I want to restate again that I have a firm belief and faith that this third county assembly of Machakos is going to make history in this county, because I have known very well each and every member, their heart, their mind, their soul, their commitment to developing this county on behalf of the people. I would want to ask them to join together with the governor to put their hearts out there. Machakos is a county that went through a tough terrain in the last 10 years. We have a chance. We have an opportunity. God has given us the space, the room. We are now in the theater. As Churchill said, everybody is an actor in the theater of the world, and they always have an opportunity to be on stage. We are now on stage, my colleague, friends. Let us do the right thing for our people with a lot of objectivity, with very deep commitment, because what we are doing here will follow us. And when we are long gone, I was telling a few friends of mine, when you walk out of this chamber, there is a book, and there is names of our forefathers, men who are here ahead of us. Some are buried down there, some are not known where they died, but they fought for this space. They inked their name into that document out there. Whatever you do with these 5 years will determine whether you ink your name, not now on that write-up, but in the hearts and the souls of the great people of Machakos. May I ask that that be our commitment, our drive. That remains mine. That remains my uttermost conviction. Doing better for the people, making a difference in the communities, touching a good life every day, improving their state of affairs. When I improve the life of a resident of Machakos, in whatever village, every day, I sleep that day a richer man. Not the few coins that I will earn, not the few coins that we will earn, but the number of lives that we are going to touch in our service. With me is a good friend of mine, my financial consultant and human resource and administration expert that is always around me, so that we do a lot of consultancy with him, and he had assignments to do with me here, and I thank him for finding time to join me today. He's one Joel Mudhama from the great ward of Kibauni. Asanteni sana.
Thank you. Thank you very
Madam
much.
Speaker.
Thank you. Members, we've come to the end of this session. I would like to release the nominee, and then don't forget to collect your original academic papers, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Asante sana.